For anyone who doesn't know, I have two dogs. I have two miniature schnauzers, the wonderful Winnie and Frankie. And listen, I would do anything for them. Absolutely anything. Go to prison. Hurt someone. The two things I would do for them. And then sometimes I would love to know what they were thinking. From like in the morning when one of them isn't eating breakfast, when they're waking me up at 6 a.m. to just look at me. I could be like, what are you doing? What's happening? Why do you need a poo? Now, when you went 3 times before bed. That would be great to be able to speak to him directly. Very Dr. Dolittle, you know what I mean? And I'm sure they would love to communicate with me too. I'm sure they think they already are. So if you're confused by this video title, we are talking about pet psychics. So the deal with them is you pay them, they do a reading of your pet, either in person, video call, or even just on their own. They ask your pet how they're doing. Is there anything they want to say to you? Anything they want, like changes to food and the way they're being tickled or stroked or where they sleep, and basically anything you might want to know about. We're about to watch a story time from House Chris talking about her experience with this pet psychic, Laurie Cohen, and it's absolutely wild.
There's just a little PSA for anybody else who has been swindled by the pet psychic propaganda on this app. Learn from my mistake and do not do it, okay? It is a scam. It is 100% fake news. It's a scam. From the top, it was just absolute bullcrap, okay? The reason I bought it is because I had seen a couple of viral videos, the pet psychic side of TikTok. I was like, oh, that would be like a sweet little gift for my husband. And I was also thinking like, I'm really curious what goes through Georgie and Minnie's little pea-sized brains. Why not? $200 and 8 weeks later, I get our pet reading from this pet psychic. It's a 20-minute.
$200 is a lot of money for a pet psychic.
Audio about both dogs. And let me just say from the top, not legitimate at all, okay? She asked Georgie about her food, if she likes her food. And Georgie said, yes, of course I love my food. It's the farmer's dog. None of that kibble crap that other owners give to their dogs. You guys, we don't feed Georgie and Minnie the farmer's dog, okay? So immediately I was just like,
why would a pet assume what dog food their dog's getting? That's very specific.
This is fake. She asks the dogs about how they feel about their mom and their dad. And she got energy that I was in a career of helping people, that I was a doctor who loves Disney. Okay, those two things could not be.
She saw a blonde white girl and was like, you like Disney.
Further from the truth. When asked about their home and their home environment, if they like it, they said that Georgie does love laying on the balcony in the sun, which is true. She also loves the pool and the sauna. Two things we do not have. Here's where it gets really, really good. We move on to Minnie, okay? And she starts off by saying that Minnie, has some really bad physical ailments, which is, somewhat true. She could probably tell from her photo, her eyes a little messed up. But Minnie was telling the pet psychic that she uses a cane to walk. She can't walk on her own and she uses a cane.
Sorry, the pet was telling the psychic that she cannot walk by herself and she uses a cane. Is it a dog or a cat? The animal is using a cane to walk. What the fuck is going on?
Minnie does not have a cane. She then asked Minnie about her relationship with her dad and, how her dad is in the home. She told the psychic that there is anarchy in the home and her dad owns too many pew-pews and there's themes of war in the home. Like Minnie's dad is a soldier, and was going on and on about how, Minnie's dad, my husband, has PTSD from the war and is very depressed and could also possibly be... What? I'm sorry, what? That's an absolutely crazy thing to do in a pet reading, okay?
Yeah.
This psychic could totally continue just making her bag by saying generic statements about dogs like, your dog Georgie is playful and loving and cute.
They love being stroked, but when it's time to stop, they give you a sign. And I'll be like, oh yeah, I guess they do. It's so easy. So easy to scam people, come on.
Or something like, I'm sensing that Minnie loves to be around people. Instead, she's telling me that my husband is deeply, deeply depressed and owns too many. For the record, we don't own a pew-pew and we never will. I don't know where that came from. And to be completely honest, I don't know what kind of drug she's on to come up with all of these statements.
So
like, she could have done her research and she could have looked up my name and could have sold me a really good, somewhat accurate story based off of my social media. I don't know, either she channeled the wrong Georgie and Minnie. I'm sure there are two Frenchies out there who are sisters whose names are also Georgie and Minnie. Maybe she channeled them instead of my Georgie and Minnie. I have a feeling she's probably just making all this crap up. And she's getting her bag for it. So lesson learned, don't hire a pet psychic. Just don't. It's fake news.
But also, like, you've hired a pet psychic and they're giving you all this information about you. I'll go to a normal fucking psychic, thank you. Not horrifying that pets could have, like, full understanding of mental health. And like, what guns are, what war is, and what PTSD is. Imagine loving your pet so much, thinking it'll be cute to get one of these, you know, readings as a gift to your partner who also loves your pet, and then having the reading come back like this. This home is anarchy. I hate it. You know, you have PTSD. You want to unalive yourself, but pets have to get therapy too. She is so right in that she could have just said, your dog wishes they would get more treats. They ask for food at a certain time. They just want you to know that, you know, they appreciate it. They're not being impatient. You know, they just really like their food. Everyone's dog does that, you know? When they ignore you, when you call them to come back inside the house, they're not ignoring you on purpose. They just want to protect you, you know? So easy. I'm sensing there's some kind of habit you don't like your dog doing. Your dog loves you so, all this kind of stuff, and still made $200. Anyway, moving on. So Chris got some pretty heavy topics in her pet reading, not just about her pets. And they're even worse when you hear the actual recordings. No.
I foolishly spent $200 on a pet psychic so that you don't have to. Here are some actual audio bits from the pet psychic reading that I got for my two dogs, Georgie and Minnie. Okay, so she asks Georgie if she likes her food.
She said, what's not to like? It's farmer's dog, the good stuff. Only the good stuff for me. Top quality 5-star stuff.
What?
None of that boring kibble.
We don't give her farmer's dog. We never have.
I like to lay out there, sunbathe. Unless it gets too hot, then I want to come in and relax, cool off by the pool. There's a sauna. I said, do you use it? She said, of course not. I'm just telling you there is one. Dad likes it, Mom not so much. She likes other things like dancing and Disney and music and sunshine and flowers and daffodils. No. I said, what does Dad like? No. She said, shooting guns. He was in the army, the armed forces, protecting the country. Their son was too. He doesn't live here.
Their
son was too. It's like someone's gone up to a child and been like, what do women and what do men do? And, you know, and they've been like, oh, women love daisies and men love guns. It's really strange.
Son was too?
I said,
we don't have a child. Hank has never been in the army. Sorry, this is only 6 minutes in and it's a 20-minute audio. Okay, so buckle up.
I said, do you have any advice for your dad? She said, no, he struggles with things a lot, thinks he can't do certain things. There's trauma there, possibly depression. He needs to work through it. It can't hold him back. It can't become stronger than he is. He should meditate too. They should meditate together.
Okay, let's move on to Minnie because this isn't even...
Let me just tell you, my dogs certainly do not know anything about meditation.
Like the craziest part.
Can you tell me more about this? She said, diseased. I said, I don't understand. She said, I've been sick before, very sick, but I am better now, healed, heart and lungs, tummy, doing very well indeed. She said, handicapped. I use a cane to walk. She said, there's too much.
I just can't get around why you would, as anyone, not just a pet psychic, as anyone would be like, yeah, something I see a lot is dogs using canes to walk. Like...
going on here physically and mentally, it's too much. I want a calm, peaceful home without guns and anarchy. Dad shoots guns, yes. It's loud, I don't like it. It needs to go away. Him and his hunting buddies. He shoots deer, I don't like it. He shouldn't have a gun. They don't belong here. Not safe. I do not feel unloved. I am very happy. We needed to change the subject. I said, can you tell me what you like about your home? She said, the stairs. I like running up and sliding down. Plop, plop, plop. I don't like the guns. I don't like the guns at all. But I like the stairs and the slide and the grass and rolling in it.
We don't have grass.
I like being pocket-sized. It's nice. You can be pushed in a stroller. I have one. And I saw like a teal dog stroller.
We don't own one of those. We don't have one.
I asked for Dad, I don't like the guns, and work on yourself. I said, what does this mean? She said mental health struggles. I don't want him to kill himself. And I said, Minnie, and she said, what? And I said, this is big stuff. Lock the guns away, you don't need them. I said, are you legitimately worried, Minnie?
Sorry. You got the wrong Georgian Minnie. That's for sure.
Pet Psychic's been on Google and found the wrong person. And I definitely feel like if pets could talk, maybe cats, but dogs, they wouldn't sound like wise prophets, you know, with like extensive knowledge on world issues and mental health and walking with canes, you know? And imagine getting a pet psychic thing back and your animal, your pet is like roasting you to a stranger. And again, the psychic really goes in and go, I don't want the dad to like unalive himself. It's really intense. Anyway, so this lady was like weirdly specific about Chris's life and what her dogs liked. And you could argue, what if it was the wrong dog that started to talk with Laurie or something? This is until you see what some of Chris's comments were saying. This person says, I found a profile under Chris House that the husband is in the military, wife is a nurse, and they have 2 Frenchies. I wonder if that's who she found too. This person says, there's a lady named Kristen House whose husband Eric and son were both in the military and live in a nice house in California that has a pool. So all they had to do was Google these 2 names and they found the people that this pet psychic was talking about. You just search her names, Chris House on social media, and a lady other than our Chris shows up. And just so happens she has 2 Frenchies and a pool and a husband and a son that were in the military and probably a sauna. I'm assuming there's no pictures of their dog with a cane. It could have been that Laurie did a little bit of research before her reading. Either way, this story time got super popular with over 500,000 views. And the psychic did make a video talking about her side of the story. I would have gone into hiding.
I'm going to be honest, and this is a hard video to make, and I've been sitting here just staring into my camera trying to figure out if I should even make this video and what
Probably
to
not.
say.
You probably shouldn't have.
So, you know, I post stories about these like crazy, like funny sessions I've had with animals and just the accurate things that I've gotten in sessions that there's no way I would have known. But not every session is like that. I have done 180 sessions, and 2 of those sessions, the feedback I got was like, yeah, like none of this is right. And one of those sessions, well, I didn't do the session today, but I got the feedback today where like just all of this stuff was wrong. And, you know, I'm thinking, was I not connected to the right animal? Did wires get crossed? Did I just like really misinterpret the messages I got? And it really, when that happens, it's really hard for me. You know, I can go back and I can ask the animal like, hey, you know, your mom said that like all of this is wrong. Like, why did you tell me this? The hard part of that though is when I go back to an animal, when the animal says, you know, when I find out the animal says something was not accurate, my brain wants to jump in and try to like problem solve and brainstorm and think, you know, what could it be? And so it's very hard for me to stay in like telepathy and not have my brain want to jump in and think of what it could be. You know, I've mentioned that I am a huge skeptic when it comes to this, and I wouldn't believe it if I wasn't experiencing it. And at this point, I've done enough sessions where I'm like, yeah, there's like no way I would know this stuff. And it's really only been 2 sessions of the 180 where the feedback was just like, yeah, all of this was wrong. When a session like this happens, it's bound to happen, you know, doing so many sessions, like this is bound to happen. I don't know why, and it really bothers me, and it's hard to just, you know, let it go and move on. So I'm trying to like get myself in a better mental place so that I can continue doing sessions. But I guess I just wanted to say, like, you know, because a lot of you guys, you've seen my videos about Loaf and Nandor the Relentless, and you know, the dog that told me his mom is gay, and she is. You know, they're not all just like amazing sessions.
The statement is a bit of a dodgy statement because the fact is she also didn't touch on the fact that people can Google other people and You know, listen, I have psychicness and all this kind of stuff. I do believe in some psychics. I do believe in some paranormal things, right? But I think with psychic, this is just me personally, with psychic abilities, with fortune telling, card reading, you have to have some kind of connection, whether that person be in front of you physically or whatever. You have to have some kind of connection. I don't think I could sit here if I was a psychic and be like, right, let me connect to these dogs now. I just don't believe that from a person who believes in psychic point of view. For a person who may be skeptical, it's bullshit. She Googled these names like other people have, found people that match these exact descriptions, and then spoke about them. I still don't get the cane thing. I need to see if there's a picture of a French bulldog with a cane. Doing some maths, right? She's maybe made 36,000 from these readings. That's a lot to charge if you are a skeptic. Like she said, she doesn't believe in it herself. On the flip side, though, that's a good way to actually just Googling people. Don't you think that if you were offering these services that you might be transparent and just say that it might not always be accurate? Or would you assume the person booking the reading should know that and just be like, okay, it's not guaranteed that we're going to get a good reading? Talking about like the more successful, it's like, yeah, a pet told me his mum was gay and she is. Okay. Sometimes you can just look at someone and be like, gay. So Laurie did refund Chris, rightly so. This might be the first time that we have actually covered something where the person was actually refunded hassle-free without having to go crazy about it. Laurie's comments on her apology did get pretty heated, right? Someone said, okay, I just looked up House Chris. You should have never said some of the things you did, even if that was coming through. Why would you think it's okay to talk about the husband committing that? It wasn't just being misinterpreted. You said her husband was in the army. His not. You said the dog ate specific food. It didn't. You said they liked the sauna, pool, and grass. They don't have that. 100%. It wasn't misinterpreted. Oh my god, why can't I say that? It wasn't misinterpreted. It was just straight up bullshit. I read tarot. Occasionally, someone tells me everything I tell them seems completely wrong. I suspect it's because they don't like what they're hearing, but I don't know. Someone's saying that maybe something you're predicting for their future doesn't seem quite right because it hasn't happened yet. Maybe can be a little bit like, see what happens. When you are saying that your family, your husband and your child were in the army, when one, you don't even have a child, and two, none of them were in the army because one of them doesn't exist anyway, that's not them not liking it. That's them being like, that quite literally is not my life. Stop making excuses for shit like this. So the best case scenario here is that you are completely sincere and today you are realizing that you do not actually possess the ability to accurately reflect the thoughts of animals. That's a best case, but we have evidence to say that she has Googled these people beforehand. Watch part of the video, it's giving Mean Girl vibes. What? No, it's not. I feel like it was her intention from the get to embarrass you. She seemed like the type to own guns, though. I don't think she ever denied that. She did deny it. She said they have never and would never have guns in the house. This is giving Mean Girl vibes. What, just because she was doing her hair and talking about a service that she was charged for, that was grossly incorrect. A lot of them were right. The people still I don't understand why you're trying to defend this person when she has literally either made stuff completely up about their lives and it just doesn't match them, and be like, oh yeah, maybe they don't like what they're hearing. What, I don't like hearing that you think I have a sauna and a swimming pool when I don't. I'll be like, oh yeah, my sauna, yeah, you're right. Listen, I would love to get a pet reading, a psychic reading. The whole time, I would think it's bullshit, despite being a believer in psychics, but yeah. Would you hire a pet psychic? Is there stuff that you want to hear from your pets, like maybe about your sauna? Maybe they don't like your sauna? Let me know down below. Consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up. I'll see you in the next one.